morning, guys. Today I'm making these mini freezer cinnamon rolls. It's a recipe that I found on Pinterest. I will link the video, or not the video, I will link the recipe below on those. And this is Freezer Friendly Friday episode 2. So let's get started. First thing you want to do is you want to preheat your oven to 425. Then you're going to need 2 things of crescent rolls, 2 cans of crescent rolls. These are just the original crescent rolls. This is Walmart brand. So you need 2 of those. You need wax paper. And I've done melted the butter since I've done made 1 can. So you need 2 tablespoons of melted butter. You need brown sugar. This is homemade brown sugar. I have a video on how to do that, and I will link that below. You need ground cinnamon, and you need a mini muffin tin. You see, I've done the 1 can, and I have those in my muffin tin. The recipe says that 1 roll will make 12 cinnamon rolls. I got 16 out of it, so luckily I have a little muffin, a mini muffin tin, I guess you could call it. So I'll have enough to make this other can at the same time, to bake at the same time. So I'm going to spray this pan. I sprayed the other one, but I didn't spray this one because I didn't know if I was going to need it or not. So I didn't spray it because I thought, well, if I don't need it, I don't want to have to wash it, you know. Alright, you get you a piece of wax paper. Then you open your can of crescent rolls. And you do want to do this 1 can at a time. And you're probably hearing Mickey Mouse in the background. Emma's playing and watching Mickey and all that fun stuff. So, put it on your wax paper, and then you roll it out. And just a little heads up, the colder that crescent rolls are, the easier they are to work with. So I would recommend that, of course obviously you don't want to freeze them, but I would recommend that you put them in the freezer, you know, at least for 20-30 minutes or so before you're going to use them. So that way they're as cold as possible without being froze. And they are much easier to work with, because that first can, when I started with it, it was colder than these are, and it was much easier to work with, less sticky. Alright, so then once you get it rolled out, you want to pinch your seams together to make 1 big square. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing's perfect in life. So I'm not a perfectionist. Rob, on the other hand, is. And y'all, sometimes it drives me bonkers. I'm like, it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's just do it and get it done. Alright. Then, after you get that done, then you want to take your melted butter and brush it on. Brush it on your dough. Then you sprinkle your cinnamon on. And yes, the recipe does have measurements for the cinnamon and for the brown sugar, but you guys know how I am. I don't measure, rarely do I measure. I measure when I'm baking, and I measure when I'm like cooking rice or something like that, but that's about it. Alright, then you sprinkle your brown sugar on. If you get big clumps of brown sugar, you can, go in there and kind of break them up and spread it out. Alright, let me wash my hands and I'll be right back. Alright, once you get that done, then you want to roll it. And I would roll it like I done those others. I would roll it. See how this is longer? It's more of a rectangle than a square. It's longer this way than it is this way. I would roll it this, like I'm going to do it, because that way they're smaller, not as thick cinnamon rolls, so that would make, mini, and you'll get more. If you roll it this way, you're going to have thicker cinnamon rolls and not get as many. So now is the real fun part. Rolling your dough. And if you guys, excuse me, if you guys don't want to use canned crescent rolls, you could totally make homemade dough. That would be even better. You don't have to use the canned stuff you don't want to. I just did because I just didn't have time to make homemade dough. We are trying to get our big project done of getting our flooring and all that good stuff done, so I just don't have time. So I went the easy route and used canned crescent doughs. Alright, so now after you get it rolled up, then you want to take a small paring knife. This is just, I love these knives, by the way, you guys. They're from Pampered Chef. Imagine that. I've told you guys before I love Pampered Chef stuff. So, no, I'm not sponsored by Pampered Chef. No, I do not sell it. But I do have friends that sell it. And if you would like to order something, then let me know and I can get you in contact with them. Alright, so then you want to cut your cinnamon rolls. And that's what you have. Alright, and then after you get it cut, then you place it in your sprayed muffin tin. And then once you get them all cut, then you'll put them in the oven. I'm going to get these cut up and get them in the muffin tin, and then I'll bring you back and show you what they look like before I put them in the oven. Alright guys, so I got them all cut up and in the muffin tins. Let me bring this over here where you can see it up close. That is what they look like. This is my little muffin tin. So I've got 2, 4, 6 in it, and then 24 in my big muffin tin. It's a 24 muffins. So that makes a total of 30 cinnamon rolls. Yeah, I'll get it out in a minute, y'all. So, out of 2 crescent roll cans, 8 crescent rolls in each can, I got a total of 30 mini freezer cinnamon rolls. mini cinnamon rolls. Shoo! Lordy. Alright, so I'm going to pop these in the oven. It says to cook the cinnamon rolls at 425 for 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm going to get them in the oven. And while they're cooking, I'm going to whip up the icing for them. Alright, let's see what the icing calls for. It calls for 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of butter melted, and 2 teaspoons of milk. So, I'm going to get that stuff together and then I'll show you how to do that. So while those are cooking, I'm going to show you how to do the checking on them, make sure they're doing alright. You want to keep an eye on them. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to do the icing. So I've done melted my butter. It's already in here. It's 2 teaspoons of melted butter. Then you need a teaspoon of vanilla. This is just vanilla extract. So 1 teaspoon of that. And look, y'all, I'm measuring. Then you need 2 teaspoons of milk. This is raw milk, so I'm just mixing it up. Because if you've never used raw milk, or never had raw milk, while it sets, the cream will rise to the top, so you want to mix it up before you use it. If not, then you'll get mostly cream. Alright, so you want 2 teaspoons of milk. 1, 2. Alright, then you want 3/4 cup of powdered sugar. Whoops. Guys, powdered sugar can be so messy. Well, maybe it's just me. I tend to be sometimes a messy cook. Alright, 3/4 cup of powdered sugar. And I'm going to sweep this that I got here on the counter over in it. A little extra never hurt nobody. Alright, then you need a whisk. Alright. Then says to whisk it together until it is well combined. Alright guys, so there it is. Bring it over here where you can see. There it is. That's the icing for them. I may fix a little bit more of this because I have 6 more cinnamon rolls. I have 6 more cinnamon rolls than what the recipe says that you'll get. So I may mix up a little bit more of that just to make sure I have enough. And then we'll go from there. There's my cinnamon rolls. Let me go check those. Alright y'all, there they are. They are done. I cooked mine for 10 minutes. Your oven may be different. The recipe says 10 to 12 minutes. When I'm doing something like that I've never cooked before, I always cook it the least amount of time that it says first. I always set my timer on that time first and then go from there. because you can always cook it a little more, but you don't want to overcook it. So I'm going to get the icing on these. I'll bring you guys along and let you see how I do that. Hopefully I have enough of what I mixed up. Like I said, I may have to mix up some more because I have 6 more cinnamon rolls than what the recipe said that you would get. So I'm going to take my whisk and see how that... Oh, careful, Emma. Let me get... I have a smaller whisk. Let me get it. And it will probably work better. There we go. Alright, let's try this. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Alright. And personally, myself, when I make cinnamon rolls, you know, even if I use the canned cinnamon rolls, I always put my frosting on while the cinnamon rolls are warm, you know, straight out of the oven so it melts like that one is. Whoopsie. And y'all, I'm going to have enough frosting, icing, whatever you want to call it. It's not frosting. Frosting's for cake. See, I'm not a baker. I am. We joke around. My mom does the baking in the family. And we joke around that she's the baker of the family and I'm the chef. Guys, these smell amazing. There's a close-up for you guys. It calls for a mini muffin tin. If you do not have a mini muffin tin, I'm sure that you could probably use a regular muffin tin. You would just have bigger muffins. Bigger cinnamon rolls. And honestly, they may not look like cinnamon rolls. They may, you know, they're going to have more room to spread. They're not going to be like these are where they, because they're, you know, small where they rose up instead of out. So a big muffin tin, they may spread out. They may look more like a cinnamon patty, maybe. I don't know. This is the first time I've done this recipe, so I don't know. But if you don't have a mini muffin tin, you could always try a regular size muffin tin, or you could possibly try it and see. I don't know. This is just a thought that's popped in my head. You could cut them like I did. You know, fix them, cut them, and put them on like a cookie sheet or, you know, some kind of flat surface, and pop them in the freezer and freeze those. And then bake them on the cookie sheet, and you might I don't know if that'll work either. I'm just brainstorming here for you guys. But I would try either freezing them or flash freezing them, you know, you don't have to get them completely hard. Just freeze them, flash freeze them, you know, that's a couple of hours or give or take in your freezer. And you want to make sure you put those on a flat surface and then put that in your freezer, because you know how the freezer shelves are, they got cracks in them and you don't want that stuff falling down. That's why when these are completely cool and I stick them in my freezer to flash freeze them before I vacuum seal them, I will leave them on these muffin tins and put them in the freezer like that, because you don't want the things sliding down in the cracks. If you get something down in there, especially if it's like, you know, something liquid, and it freezes like that, you're going to have a really hard time and possibly, more than likely, a huge mess when you go to take them out, when you go to get them out, you know, to use it or whatever. So, anyways, always make sure when you put things in your freezer to flash freeze, well, when you put things in your freezer, period, make sure you put it on a flat surface and let it flash freeze, and then put it in whatever you're going to put it in, your freezer bag, your vacuum sealer, whatever, and then put it in there. So that way it's already froze some, so it won't fall down in the cracks. And if it does fall down in the cracks a little bit, it's not going to freeze that way because it's already froze. You know what I'm saying? Hope that makes sense. So anyway, so if you do not have a mini muffin tin, I would either two of these. I would either, okay, three. Let's say three. I would either go and invest in a mini muffin tin. That would be my first option. That's what I would do if I did not have a mini muffin tin. I would invest in one. You can get them at Walmart. They're not very expensive. Two, I would use a big muffin tin and just keep an eye on them when you stick them in the oven. Like I said, they may turn into more like a cinnamon patty type thing. They may be flat instead of like a, you know, like a cinnamon roll. As long as the taste is okay, then, you know, it don't matter what it looks like as long as it tastes good, right? And I would keep a close eye on them. If I cooked them like that, I would keep a really close eye on them because they are going to cook quicker. You may need to cook them at a cooler temp than 425. Or you may just need to, you know, keep it at 425, just not 10 minutes. You know, I'd start out maybe 5 minutes and just watch them. Keep an eye on them. Or the third option would be, to put them on a cookie sheet, put them in the freezer, flash freeze them so they're, you know, kind of hard, and then cook them in the oven. And you might possibly get more like a bought cinnamon roll. You know how you get cinnamon rolls out, you know, bought cinnamon rolls, take them out of the can, you put them on a cookie sheet. You don't put those in a muffin tin. You put them on a cookie sheet and put them in the oven. And they hold their shape. Might. I mean, I'm just, like I said, I'm just brainstorming here, just guessing. I'm not a baker, so I don't know all about the baking powder and baking soda and exactly how that works. I'm just brainstorming for you guys, giving you some ideas that I'm thinking of. But like I said, my first option would be to invest in a mini muffin tin. Because, you know, you'll probably like these. They'll be really good, and it's a quick breakfast. Pop them in the microwave for a few minutes of the morning, and there you go. There's breakfast, and you're out the door. For your kids, or for you, whoever wants them, or it's a quick snack. You know, they're... Excuse Cooper. Anyways, it's a quick snack. You know, they're small. So it could be a quick little snack when your kids get in from school. Because I know they are starving when they get in from school in the afternoons. So, alright guys. I am going to let these cool. Let them cool completely. And then I'm going to stick them in my freezer. Flash freeze those. And then I said earlier vacuum seal. But probably what I'm going to do is like I done with the... mini pizzas that I fixed last week, was last week's episode. I will probably put some of them in freezer bags and flash seal some of them. Flash seal. Y'all. Vacuum seal some of them. So that way they don't freeze or burn. But I'll put some of them, you know, in a freezer bag that Emma will use quickly. And that will be later on this afternoon because these has got to cool completely. Then they got to flash freeze in my freezer. And then I'll get them. Then by that time it's probably going to be nap time for Emma. And I can't use my vacuum sealer while she's napping. So it'll be later on this afternoon, this evening when I get to those. That's okay. Just because I'm saying flash freeze, you know, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Sometimes they stay in my freezer for longer than an hour or two. Sometimes it's more like 3 or 4 hours before I can get to them. That's okay. I would say possibly even overnight would be okay. I wouldn't go any farther than that because you're risking freezer burn. But it's okay. If you put them in there and you can't get to them that day, things happen. Stuff comes up. I get it. But I would definitely get to them the next day, for sure. I wouldn't let them sit in there real long, because they will freezer burn. Especially sitting in there, you know, wide open, nothing protecting them. So, alright guys, I'm going to let you go right now, and then when these are flash froze, and I'm going to vacuum seal them and put them in my freezer bags, I will bring you guys back and let you see how I'm doing that. And if you try this and you don't have a mini muffin tin and you try it some other way, please let me know. Drop it in the comments below. There may be other people that's watching that would like to know how to do that, that don't have a mini muffin tin. So, alright guys, I will see you later on this afternoon. Alright y'all, so it is later on this afternoon. Emma just got up from her nap and I got her all settled in, so hopefully she'll stay over there and play and drink her bottle and be quiet. So, the cinnamon rolls, my mind today guys. The cinnamon rolls are flash froze. Well, a little more than flash froze, but that's okay. Like I said before, that's fine. So they're ready to be put in their freezer bags, and I'm going to do some in freezer bags, and I'm going to do some vacuum sealed. So I was going to bring you guys along and show you how I do that. Hopefully my battery doesn't go completely dead on me before I get that done. So let's get started. Alright. So I'm going to put some in freezer bags. Like I said, maybe if I can write. And as little as these are, probably going to put, these are for Emma, of course. She'll be the one eating them. Oh, and I might have tried one, and they're really good. So, let's see. I think I'll put 3 in a bag for her. 3 little mini cinnamon rolls and like a banana or some yogurt or something like that will be a good breakfast for her. So I'm going to do a few of these in freezer bags, and then I'm going to do a few of them in my vacuum sealer, and I'll show you how I do that real quick before my battery dies on me, and then I'll get the rest of these done. So, I really need pump for these. I need to order some. I really do. Alright, there's 3. Now, since I have so much bag left, I'm going to cut some of it off. But you don't want to cut too much off. You want to leave enough room to stick it in your machine so you can vacuum seal it. Alright. Then I'm going to come over here to my vacuum sealer. And I'm going to stick it in there. And you want to make sure you put it in where the opening, you know, where the machine can pull the air out. So the opening needs to be down in the little crevice in there. Then you put it up on operate till the power light comes on. Then you push your vac/seal button. And when it's done vacuum sealing, that light will come on, and it's sealed. That means that the seal light, it's a seal light, and that means that it's sealing the bag. And when that goes off, then it's done. See, they both went off. It's done. You can open it, and there you go, all sealed and ready to go in the freezer. I will label these and put them in the freezer the same way I did these. The ones that are vacuum sealed should last, I'd say, at least 2-3 months, maybe longer. Vacuum sealed. The ones that are in the freezer bags, they probably won't last any longer than a few weeks. Honestly, they probably won't be here that long. But I'm just going to vacuum seal some just to make sure, you know, in case she gets to where she don't want some or whatever the reason. That way we have them for a while. They're on hand. So that is today's Freezer Friendly Friday recipe. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you try it, let me know. Let me know how you like it. Let me know how it does for you. And I will talk to you guys in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you're notified when we upload new videos. And please share with your family and friends. It really helps us out a lot, guys. So until the next one, bye.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. Here.